Hello, dear viewers. We're on Mekubalim Kotvim, meaning Cabalists, the writing of the books, the writings of Cabalists, and today I'd like to talk to you about Câncer. Balasulam died from cancer at the age of 70, the same with Rav Kook, and we would like to wish you a good and healthy long life. But, says Rav, the question is, what stands behind this, that two Kabbalists pass away from the cancer disease? No, I don't see anything unique about it. Just like this disease in our days, this illness, it's very common. So the Kabbalists, they go with everyone. And what happens to the public happens to them too. And even more than to the public. Therefore, I don't see anything special about it that you have to think about. One of the means to cope with cancer is these inner efforts to overcome, different things that help a person to cope with this illness, specifically this illness, that tries to, draw new forces, super forces out of a person. Because this disease, it fits in the way and its behavior in a person's body, just like the ego, which consumes human society, eats up a person spiritually, that it grabs him, gets him, holds him, rules him within the person. The very same way this disease wants to spread in the whole body and control it. It's really the evil inclination in its revelation, in its direct nature. A bit more about the disease. The disease is actually very simple. It's the lack of the normal functioning of the cells, of the program according to which the cells live. We're inside a big program called the thought of creation. Inside this program, there are the degrees of the still, vegetative, animate, and speaking. When we don't function correctly, on the speaking level, on the highest level, by this we influence the functioning of all of the living, still, and animate levels. Like Balasulam writes in the introduction in the preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah, I think item 11 or 12, he says that there is no calculation with the still, vegetative, and animate in nature besides with man, because the whole of nature rises and goes up and down with man. It follows man. A person goes up and down in his work, and nature follows. So in our times, when the human ego grows, and we, as the people of Israel, can't handle it, we're actually to blame that the ego grew this way without being taken care of. It's like we talk about the still, vegetative, animate, and speaking, where a person is responsible for all the parts of nature which are below him. We also have to take all of human society and divide it into those very 4 degrees of the still, vegetative, animate, and speaking, where the speaking is the level of Israel, and the degrees of the still, vegetative, and animate are the degrees of the world. And it depends on the people of Israel, the ascent and descent of the nations of the world. And if we don't function correctly, then all of these degrees of the still vegetative inanimate, meaning all the nations of the world, they suffer as well. And if we try to transcend at some point in history to keep ourselves a bit better up, then the whole world feels better as a result.